It's time for this week's News or Snooze. Bennett will give me 3 quotes or storylines from this past week, and I'll say if they're newsworthy or snoozeworthy. Bennett, are you ready?
I am. Are you?
No, but let's do it.
Okay, first one. So some context. Nick Kidwell, arguably JMU's best player, best offensive lineman, is out for the season.
Awesome.
His left leg, I believe, got rolled up on the first play of the game. Kind of hard to see in the broadcast. The broadcast, of course, didn't mention it. Anyway, this quote is from Curt Cignetti. Nick really had emerged as the leader of the team, and he was a good player. He'd been here a long time. The question that I have for you, is it newsworthy? Obviously, Kidwell being out is newsworthy. But is him as a leader not being on the field newsworthy? Or is it snooze in the sense that he's still like going to be around the team?
It'll be interesting to see if he continues to travel with the team and if he chooses to like stick it out that way. Shane Metlin had an article today. I believe he was saying how Kidwell was still instrumental on the sidelines during that Utah State game. So if he's not there, I think that will be pretty big. He's kind of, and I hate to use this cliche, 2 cliches in one podcast is never good, but he was like a coach on the field. He is old. He is kind of that grizzled offensive lineman who's been there. He's been through it all. And to lose that, I think it is a considerable blow. Then on the flip side, this is a very experienced offensive line. The guys stepping up for him are very capable guys. I don't think the offensive line play from a on the field standpoint is going to take much of a step back. It is going to take a step back, but I don't think it'll be necessarily like a massive, massive blow, but kind of that leadership. Yeah. And kind of being that calming force in the huddle may impact him.
And not really a September storyline, but interesting to follow in general. He could use a medical hardship waiver, saying that he was saying could do that to come back to JMU. He's also very good and could do that and try to play like his final year on like an NIL deal or a Power 5. Don't know how that'll go, but interesting nonetheless. All right. Was that news or snooze? What did you decide?
News.
I blacked out. Okay.
Sorry, news.
Number 2. This one's not a quote, but I was interested in this sort of storyline. The 2 deep, right? The depth chart released at the beginning of the week had linebackers Jalen Walker and Torres Jones listed as starters, even though they haven't played the last couple of weeks. It has since been shifted to have them as backups. I've never seen a depth chart midweek shift from the Dukes. I check it like pretty much daily just out of boredom.
Well, can we talk about the underlying, like what this means? It means that Cignetti released 1 2 deep to the media, knowing we were going to eat it up and like completely go deep into it, put our claws into it and enjoy every moment. I don't know if he accounted for Bennett being an absolute sicko.
I'm sure there are other sickos who saw this.
No, I don't know if everyone's going onto the website, clicking the game notes link, scrolling to page 4, and then looking at it. I don't know if they're doing that or just referencing the tweets and the pictures that everyone has been posting.
True.
So you're an absolute sicko for figuring this out.
Thank you.
But it's also like so weird that Cignetti launched it, knowing that the media and everyone was going to eat it up, put their claws into it, tweet it everywhere, absolutely overanalyze it. And then just quietly, a different 2 deep is posted to the website with Trent Hendrick and Aiden Fisher listed as the starters and Torres Jones and Jalen Walker listed as the backups. Oh, and by the way, Latrell Palmer is now on this 2 deep. He was not included in the last 2 deep. This is newsworthy. I think it means that Walker and Jones may be a little bit closer to returning in a weird way, and they may actually dress, but I think Fisher and Hendrick will get the start and get 95% of snaps.
Fisher's been awesome. Hendrick's stepped up.
Fisher has been
a stud. Really?
Yes.
All right.
Fisher might be, if Walker and Jones return this year, Fisher can't come off the field.
Very hard to take him off the field. All right, third one here. This is a quote from Curt Cignetti, who was talking about, I guess, the weird lead changes in the last few games. He says, you play a Power 5 team, there are going to be ebbs and flows in that game. You play a team like Troy on the road who won the conference championship, there are going to be ebbs and flow in that game, and obviously Saturday. It was reminding me of the Sam Houston game quite a bit at one point.
What?
I didn't like that. You don't mention that game. You can't mention the Sam Houston game.
But also you say that you play Power 5 team, there are going to be ebbs and flows. You play Troy, there's going to be ebbs and flows. You play an FBS game, there's going to be ebbs and flows. Remember that FCS game we played?
some ebbs and flows in that one as well. It was like
but
one
also,
good ebb and then a flow, which is bad.
but also that I feel like there's ebbs and flows in every. And yes, there are ebbs and flows in every football game. There is momentum swings from both sides. If you believe in momentum, if you don't believe in momentum, there is ebbs and flows. The weird thing to me, though, is in a lot of big games, there tends to be ebbs and flows where the other team flows longer than JMU ebbs. And they come away with wins. So can you question it all that much? Maybe a little bit. But man, do these big games really have some intense ebbs and intenser flows.
Some of it, like, I think Cignetti's a great coach. Like, I love him at JMU. He's candid. He's leading them to a ton of wins. He's been an unbelievable coach throughout his career. Some of it feels like a little cop-outy, where it's like, that's, you had to know that against Utah State, it was going to have ebbs and flows.
You were
I
up
don't,
27, win by 14.
You go up 24 zip, right? You're dominating the game. It's hard to say that, like, you should just come out flat in the third quarter and there should be ebbs and flows. Like, it feels like one where I feel like if it's worded differently, where it's like, no, we kind of expect to like stomp them and we didn't. I don't know. Maybe it sends a little message to the team that, like, it's different because, like, if you get up and it's like, oh, there are going to be ebbs and flows. As a player, are you like just sort of waiting for the other team to have their ebb or their flow? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a weird. To me, it was a little bit strange, at least in terms of. I get what he's saying. We're like, we're playing good teams, like they're going to get theirs. But Utah State, I don't think is as good as the other two teams.
But also, they got theirs by outscoring you 31-7.
Yeah, it's a little different than, like, they got theirs and went on a 14-zip run. It's like, no, they were killing you in the middle of the game. But maybe some fatigue at that point. Third game of a 3-game road trip, second half.
Yeah, that's tough. Newsworthy.
There you go. A lot of news this week then.
All right.